And all devotees here from Gupta Govardhan send their dandavats to you, Maharaj.
Okay. So it's English speaking Zoom, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay. Wonderful. So it's a big day today. We're celebrating Sri Govardhana Puja and trying to come up on certain time for Pacific zone. Then certain time will be for European. It will be evening time. Normally Govardhan Puja we can celebrate all day, starting from Giriraj Govardhan Abhishek, Parikrama, etc. And the reference for that is Garga Samhita, Govardhan Kanda. There's a glorious of Govardhan described more than in one scripture, of course, but there's a whole chapter on Govardhan. And of course, Srila Prabhupada in Krishna book giving very elaborate description of Govardhan and its beauty and its power. And of course, Srimad-Bhagavatam also mentioned Sri Govardhan Hill is Haridasa Varyam. He is Haridas. He's Hari himself and Haridas. What does that mean? That means when Krishna expands himself, and remember, there's nothing by Krishna. Krishna's divine existence comes out of him. He's cause of himself. He's source of himself. He says in Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate. I am cause of everything. But himself, he expands in different energies. Marginal energy, which is tatastha, the soul, and Maya energy, which is material creation, and his own energy, which is also called Swarup Shakti. Swarup Shakti means his internal energy. Out of that energy, what we heard is Khladini Sandini Sambit, to create the place, activity, and happiness. So Krishna also create the place, the activity, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. So he create Govardhan from himself. Like for instance, says Yamuna is being created by Krishna's arm. Then Govardhan being created from Krishna's heart. And is also considered to be the crown of Krishna, peacock of Krishna. So many wonderful things in a mystical way. We can see that Govardhan is divine expansion of Lord Krishna, but also has something more important than Krishna himself. What could be more important than Krishna? Something that can give you access to Krishna. Why? Because Govardhan been created for a special pastime, so Lila. And part of that pastime, Krishna is always making pastimes, but his pastimes are super unique because part of his pastimes is to fulfill desire of his devotees. But there's also another pastimes, like when he comes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's making devotees. So Krishna is not only playing with his eternal devotees, such as gopis, gopas, the family, but he's also creating new devotees. But without test of devotion, we don't know if it's real or not. That's why, just like in the school, some people say, oh, we need to remove all the tests from the school. You just go to the school and you study. There's no need for test. Test is like, but this is some kind of very liberal, mundane perception, because without challenge, without test, there's no realization what I am, how much I'm connected. So many times we see great gods like Indra, Shiva, or Brahma make mistakes. But I many times spoken that one of our, basically our religion is of imperfection. So if Indra, Brahma, and Shiva make constant mistakes, how many mistakes we make? I think our life is only mistake. But the difference between somebody's like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, the demons, they also make mistakes. And the demigods and sages, the human nature is to correct mistake. So yes, you may be making a mistake, but if you're learning from your mistake, that this mistake, this failure becomes great cause of your upliftment. But if you don't learn from your mistake and you blame everybody else, oh, it's Krishna, why he's hiding like little boy, he's a god, but what is he, like we're always looking for somebody to blame for our problems. But what says by Guru Maharaj is very deep. And it says that the environment is friendly. There's no enemies around. You are the biggest enemy. So Govardhana-lila has so many wonderful pastimes. It has Madhura-lila pastimes, which we're not so much connected. Why? Because Govardhan Hill is a beautiful place where Krishna, Radha, Gopi meet, and they have their own intimate pastimes, picnic, love stories. So that part of also described by acharyas. But mainly for us, for common people, who's coming to Govardhan, what do we know? We know one very important, Govardhana-lila, when Krishna left Govardhan Hill, and when Indra was punished and resurrected, and when all the gopas and gopis get together with the cows, Srabi, and had a great abhishek and celebrate Krishna as Govinda. So without Govardhan, there's no real understanding who Govinda is. And Govinda is our Ishtadev, the main god. Krishna has many forms, like Krishna has baby forms, he has like youth forms, he has like a king form, so many different rupa. But the position of Krishna is Govinda. And why is it Govinda? Like we say, why is it Govinda? Because, see, in a nutshell, we're looking for love, we're looking for reciprocation. And Go Indra, he's the king of senses. Not only he's the king of senses to enjoy his own kingdom. Remember, king has citizens. There's no point being king and your own little clouds with your crown and you're like depressed king or like hiding from everybody. Like that doesn't make any sense. So Krishna is the king of kingdom of love, where everyone who's member of kingdom of love has reciprocation with him. This is the beauty. So you're not just being invited to some kind of a kingdom, being a slave, or okay, we need some immigration, we need some more immigrants from Ukraine to Goloka. Some Russians are okay. Okay, so let's get some. Oh, it's already too many Indians. Come on, we need cheaper prices. That's a mundane perception. So when we talk about Krishna, Govinda, Hari Murari, Nata, Narayana, Vasudeva, as they normally sing, Hey Krishna, Govinda, Hari Murari, Nata, Narayana, Vasudeva. Then you can see so many beautiful qualities of Krishna. But Krishna, Govinda, Hari Murari, right? So he's Hari, he's a Murlidhar, he's a player, dancer, lover, and he's the king of the senses. And he's remunerating every living entity to his pure unconditional love, being able, Dandavat Navin Prabhu Ki Jai, with just a little zoom. So remunerating with love and affection. And who established this? It appears to be the king of the world. Everybody would want to become the king of the world. It's Indra, who you would think, well, he's the king of the world. How he can make mistakes? People think like, oh, if there's somebody who's in charge, they can't make mistakes. Actually, we'll see all the great leaders, like Hitler, Stalin, everybody. Once you become even temple president, you start failures, you start making mistakes. Why? Ego, position, uncontrolled. Like, do you understand? It's like people say, well, why poor people have no problem? Why the rich people go crazy? Intoxication, family. Like, you never have normal problems in poor family because they're surviving. They're supporting each other. They love each other. But once rich family gets then you start experiencing real trouble. So the King Indra, appeared to be the king of heaven. But what really knock us down is the ego. Think of this, you king of heaven. One time Indra got cursed by one of the great rishis. Because that great rishi were on Svargaloka, but he had the garland of Lakshmi. For some reason, he's got garland of Lakshmi. Means anybody who put this Lakshmi garland will become wealthy, prosperous. It's almost like a diamond. You know why diamond is very dangerous? You know why diamond is very dangerous? It says in Shastra, if you are not worthy that diamond, that can kill you. That's why we had the shock, the big diamonds. In England, there were like 200 people were killed for that stone. You heard of that, right? The story of the great diamonds. Well, because the diamond, by definition, is the power stone. And if somebody who doesn't have enough ability to hold power, get that stone, he will be destroyed by that stone. An example of this is Samantaka. The Samantaka giving 80 bar of gold was like mystical jewel. And saying that story that got one of the residents of Dwaraka. But everybody told him like, hey, you know what? Give it to Krishna. Offer this to Krishna. But he couldn't offer this to Krishna. So the end of the story is the Samantaka jewel story, where finally it's, you know, his brother got killed, and then Krishna had to search, because everybody could think, oh, Krishna killed this person for the stone. Then Krishna had to go like fix the situation. Why? Because everybody knew this stone only meant for Krishna. No one can control that stone except Krishna. So, like, you think the position of God, like, you think God really wants to be God? No. It's like managing director, Vishnu. But sometimes he gets some qualified person in the universe to become a Brahma, and sometimes not. Sometimes he just get like, you know, has to become Brahma himself, because there's no qualified soul. So Vishnu is expanding himself in the Brahma. So with the Indra, it appeared to be the great Indra, who's the mighty Indra. But if you really look at the Indra's life, when the sage offered him Lakshmi garland, which makes him more rich and more powerful, Indra could not like pay attention to that sage, although, you know, you need to be respect sadhus. But he throw that the elephant pick up that garland and throw and step in it. So think of this: somebody giving you the Lakshmi garland, like fulfill everything, make you more beautiful, more rich, more fancy, and you're throwing this away. Why? Because of the ego, because you're riding the elephant. And there's some Baba there with some garland. Yeah, I have seen garland, but this is not simple garland. So don't neglect an opportunity. Don't neglect devotees. Don't neglect people, because there might be some fortune coming to you, but you throw that fortune due to your ego. So this is the story. And Krishna also wants to show us this this is not like some people say, well, why we want to hear some 5,000-year-old story? It's not an old story. It's everyday story of your life. Ego. But somebody asked me, well, Indra is such a great personality. Why this whole thing has happened? I say, well, because Krishna tells us it can happen to Indra. What to speak about you? What to speak about me? It can happen to anyone on the highest level. What to speak about us? We're like nothing. Still, our ego is so big. You know, you put up new sari, you have like ego. You got a like little jewel, like ego automatically pop. Do you understand? Because ego need always like. So they say that story about frog and moon. The little frog asks the big frog, "Oh, I have seen a moon," and she's like, "Moon's like this." No, bigger, like this, bigger. And finally, frog explodes. The frog always tries to like pop itself by showing how big I can become. Like, look, I can be that bigger, that bigger, that bigger, that bigger. So all these stories from Krishna Lila, one point showing us. But somebody would say, well, that's very good to put in like a business books and psychological books and learn people, but that's not what it really means. Remember, Krishna has multiple era. He can fulfill all desires. He can fulfill all inner wealth. So one story cover from another story, another story, another story, another story, because there's a story about Govardhan coward boys and Nanda Maharaj and everybody else, because they love Krishna, but they still have to do some of their duty. And normally they do sacrifice, and they know without sacrifice nothing can be done. Just like we went to Pushkar, it's ultimate sacrifice place. So everybody understands in India, you got to do some sacrifice, you got to pay taxes, you got to do this, you got to do that. But you will say, what's wrong with doing that? Isn't that in the four Vedas? Agni, Varuna, you have to glorify everybody. You know, it says according to Shastra, you're supposed to worship sun once in 5 years. See, remember, ancient people, they would live by like a calendar, and they would like, okay, we respect this, we respect nature, we respect God, we respect everybody. So that's like real Vedic culture. Now, what's wrong with that? Why Krishna is so denying that? Well, Krishna is telling you pour water on the root. See, you want to distribute water to every leaf of a tree, every branch of a tree. It's going to take a long time. Like if I start watering this branch, this branch, this branch, this branch of a tree, it's going to take a long time. But if I find the root cause, if I put water there, it's a direct. So Krishna say, yes, you can participate in this so-called social mundane practice, which basically mean Guru na sasyat, Svajani na sasyat, Pitam na sasyat, Satjivam na sasyat, means like the gurus, the pitas, the parents, the country, like you know, they give you the whole big list. And you say like, this list is never ending. I don't think I can properly appreciate and worship everybody. I don't think it's the way to do it. So how do I do the most effective way? And the answer is this: you worship Krishna. And in fact, by worshiping Krishna, you're free from any other worship. You don't need to bribe anybody. Like some people say, I want to go protect my motherland. Protect from whom? From yourself. Like, become Krishna conscious and you will liberate millions of people. Become Krishna conscious, preach to your enemy, make your enemy your disciple, your follower. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, if you really want to change the world, number one, change yourself. Number two, the most powerful message is powerful love of peace. You can attack any castle with donkey loaded with golden coins. That's Marcus Aurelius said. They said, what if there's some castles that's unconquerable? And he said, yes, with a weapon you cannot conquer, but you can conquer everybody's heart. So go conquer people's heart. If you conquer their heart, they will open you doors, everything. So that's why Krishna, what is he doing? He's conquering our heart. He's conquering heart of Brijbasis. He's conquering heart. Also, he's conquering heart of Indra, because when Indra making all his mistakes and trying to destroy Krishna, what is Krishna doing? Remember, Krishna's fight is non-violence at this case. He's not trying to, it's not like, you know, the Indra pouring rain and Krishna's like, pew, 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 shooting like gold and chakra. Krishna is not responding to Indra, something very, very, aggressive. In fact, all he does is just holding the hill and patiently waiting. Krishna is patiently waiting for like 7 days. And everybody else shocked and stuck and holding the hill and thinking like, oh, what if I don't put my stick? Don't worry, it's all fine. But so this is program. Today, we're celebrating this very beautiful lila and pastime. And end of this pastime is revelation for everybody. the Surabi cow coming from the celestial planet, all the sages coming, all the gods coming. See, it begins like the worst possible day, flood and destruction. It appeared to be like world will be destroyed, Vrindavan will be vanished, everything, like it's like disaster. But end of the story is like a big Indian festival, Jimmy Jimmy, Acha Acha, with sweets, love, gifts. And finally, everybody understands. Here's Krishna, a little boy, he's the God. But not in the God in form of Michelangelo, the old man with beard who's like chastising you or, trying to follow your sin. No, he's a beautiful, loving being with loving, compassionate heart. So when Indra doing all these things, Krishna's not chastising Indra, it's Indra chastising himself. And also, in this very moment of self-awakeness, such a beautiful stream of prayers coming from Indra. The prayers of Indra, this Surabi cow, the gods. Remember, everybody came to Vrindavan just to be witness of that. When something global happened, like all the global so-called leaders fly. Really, when you look at these global leaders, they're a bunch of clowns. Like they look like clowns. But in this case, hierarchy of universe came. And all this big rishis, big sages, big gods, Shiva, Brahma, everybody came to witness this. And then Krishna, out of his humble position, unique position, established himself as Govinda. And that was not force. See, Krishna have not used any force. It's like Chinese says, a soft power. That's how Krishna defeated everybody's heart. Not giving pressure, not trying to fight back to Indra, revenge. No. Wait, tolerate, accept, and showing that the beauty is the principle. Yeah, there's some resistance had to be done by Ananta Shesh and Chakra, but finally, Krishna's unique position in this Leela, and Krishna can know how to fight, but in this case, he decides not to fight in ordinary way, to show humility, kindness, love, affection, and giving great, extend himself to his devotees, protect his devotees, and also his enemy, also his devotees. See, one gentleman who's very intellectual, he would say, unless you're Picasso, you have no enemy. Who had enemies in art? Mozart, Picasso. He said, if you're a bad artist and bad musicians, you have no enemies. You know what? Nobody cares about you. But it says, once you come to any level of greatness, you'll get resistance. Because that's how the world is. Remember, nobody talk about some girl, but everybody talk about some supermodel. Oh, she has something wrong. She put a wrong dress or wrong makeup. They want to criticize. Because if you want to criticize somebody you don't know, nobody cares about. But just your ego, you're criticizing that person. That your ego pump up. It's like just fraud. So even if this is a girl beautiful and she's everything perfect, you still find something. I think this could be better, or I think this could be that. And so you have the art critics. But remember, without art critiques, there's no art. Because the true art critic is not just able to criticize and say what's wrong with that. He also has an ability to highlight and show what's amazing about this. So this is the real true criticism, actually. So they're like, you see all these guys and talking about shit. Sorry. And you see one great critic who write critical article. And maybe he's speaking something negative also. But, in America, like in New York, the restaurant critique can destroy your restaurant or can raise your restaurant. Why? Because by doing that so-called study analysis, the food, the service, the environment. He can highlight stuff. And he can say, yes, this is really good. And that will blow everybody's mind and everybody come. And so, but the critique can come anytime. It's not like, oh, I'm going to come. No, it's incognito. So also Krishna arranged the way that this whole thing is happening incognito. Remember, when Krishna comes to Vrindavan, he doesn't come with posters. I'm Supreme Lord. I'm going to have my pastimes. Come and do Govardhana Puja. I'm going to leave Govardhan here with just one of my finger. You can come take picture with me. And by the way, the ticket costs 200 rupees. You can buy from Swami Avadhut, and he can show you Govardhana-lila. That's what I do, because the first animation for Dom we made a Govardhana-lila. And why did I make the Govardhana-lila first animation for Dom? I can tell you. Because I thought this is a beautiful, simple story, which is so amazing. And by the way, we'll show it today in the Dome, the Govardhana-lila to everybody. And why is that? Because that lila has so much power, but that lila also very attractive for kids, for children. Hey, Krishna raised the hill like a mushroom. Well, there's like so many things you can draw out of it. So anyway, to make a story short, I don't know how much time we have, but Krishna has been established as Govinda, somebody who can remunerate, reciprocate, and his love for devotees. Yeah, we know how much devotees love Krishna, but how much Krishna loves his devotees? How much Krishna appreciates his devotees? How devotees dear for Krishna, Napriyatma, Yaratma, Atmaya, that has not actually been clearly explained. And who is devotees? Even Indra say, I'm not devotee. I went against you. I tried to destroy you, my Lord. But instead of it, what you've done, you raised me up. You didn't took me down. You saved my soul. You put me in a position to glorify you. That's your punishment. That's your punishment. So I should be the worst ever sinner who commit crime against God. But what instead of it, in the book of Moses or Jesus, I'm done. But in the book of Krishna, I become somebody who's even I don't know what I am. Because remember, once the ego removed and humility pumped out, that is what highlights your face. Because through ego you cannot see anything. False ego. It's like glass. And how you destroy that? Very painful. Remember, when somebody touches your ego, very painful. So sweet weapons of Krishna, sweetheart, very special way to do it. So today, we worship in Govardhan Hill. Actually, we should go to Govardhan Hill. We have Govardhan Hill next against our temple. We're going to go 4 times around. And Govardhan Hill must be in our heart as well. Today is some Indian program at Govardhan Math, but there might be too much too difficult to make it there. I'm not sure because we just arrived yesterday. So we're celebrating here in Vrindavan, and we'll have many nice celebrations today, tonight, and have wonderful program. And thinking all this little intricate details about Govardhana-lila, because I cannot tell all Govardhana-lila, but one thing I can say, what Garga Samhita say, Govardhan can give you what's impossible. And Govardhan can give you full devotion. It says Haridas Avaryam. The Govardhan is best of Haridas. It's Hari and Haridas. So anybody worship Govardhan Hill and think about Govardhan Hill, hearing about Govardhan Hill, glorifying Govardhan Hill, remembering Govardhan Hill, somehow connect with devotee who has some devotion to Krishna, will get great fortune. And today is that day. Today is that special day of love, affection, devotion. And we were so fortunate, Srila Govinda Maharaj gave us wonderful gift of Sri Govardhan Hill, an ashram on Manasi Ganga, the perfect space, with the perfect Anu Giriraj, wonderful Giriraj Shiva. And that wonderful Giriraj Shiva, we have to come and pray and worship and love and appreciate. And if we don't do this properly, then we're not grateful. We need to be grateful to Sri Govardhan Hill, because Govardhan Hill is so grateful to us. So recently, a few days back, we had a little parikrama in Vrindavan, and we were fortunate to see all these wonderful places around Vrindavan, hidden places, wonderful kundas, and some parts of Govardhan Hill. That's our mundane vision. When we have inner Krishna consciousness and inner reflection will come, just like Raghunath Das glorifying Govardhan Hill, Rupa Goswami glorifying Hill, Krishna Das Kaviraj glorifying Govardhan Hill. So then we should hear their poetry, their impression, expression, the Gargarisha, the Vedavyas. They know what it is, actually. Actually, for us, it's just a stone. Frankly speaking, we just say, oh, it's a nice stone. But somebody who has divine vision, spiritual vision, it's not just a stone. There's Krishna himself. Not only Krishna himself, also Radha Krishna and Balaram. Everything is there. So in many of our temples, we begin worship from Giriraj Shiva. And all these Giriraj stones came from different parts of Vrindavan, and we were fortunate to receive them. And there's like maybe 3 Shila or more in Ukraine, and some Shilas in Russia. And Srila Govinda Maharaj told me, oh, you can install the deities. I said, Gurudev, we're not so qualified to do the Pratishta. He said, no problem. You can install the deity starting from Govardhan Hill. And he gave me the Giriraj mantra. He just told me, like, Giriraj mantra? I said, I don't know, here's Giriraj mantra. And he explained to me that Govardhan is self-manifest. He said, there's no need for, like, all Govardhan need is like milk, sweet, love, and affection. It's already Krishna. Like, you don't need to do any, the magic. Krishna is there. But also, it will give you devotion better than Krishna. Krishna is, very difficult. That's why we don't start. Remember, Mahaprabhu is also giving you devotion. So we worship Giriraj and Mahaprabhu. That's how we start. And then, for the sake of establishment, then Radha and Krishna can come. Then we can say, yes, Radha Krishna, Mahaprabhu, Giriraj, Govardhan, like in Ukraine. We start from Giriraj, Mahaprabhu came, and then finally here Radha and Krishna were installed. But still, that is like, as you understand, that's like for future generations. That's not like overnight. So it takes some time. Like, we're thinking, okay, one day war will finish. Okay, one day we have beautiful temple in Kyiv. We already have nice place. My hope was to get even better place. But we have to wait what's going to come. And also we have to wait when we're ready. At least my thinking was, I don't know if I ever can go to Ukraine. This could take, the whole thing can take a long time. Number one. Number two, I thought, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know one thing. Krishna give us Govinda land, he give us Petersburg. Like, Krishna give us something. So if we can establish something there, establish, not just like, oh, Hare Krishna, and go, festival and go. No, establish some worship, some practice, and continue maintain the deity worship, sankirtan. That will be very, very great chance for us to bring community of devotees to proper way of worship Krishna. Like, I don't want to criticize anybody, but I look at some other parikramas, what they do, and I've seen the chanting very nicely, Harinam, and they're speaking very nicely about gopis, intimate relationship, how many gopis, manjaris. And I think that's actually never been the program of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bring to Vrindavan a bunch of neophytes and start telling them things you have no idea. Remember, here Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke Prahlad-lila. He's spoken about Prahlad Maharaj. It was like a bunch of local brahmanas who knows all, like, hey, they all know Venugit, they all know this stuff. But the thing is, it's like, when you come to like a concert, anybody can play you the Mozart piece. Tan, 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 but that's how far you can go. But when you have virtuose composer who can play with the closed eyes, that's a whole different ballgame. But when you go to audience has no idea what it is in a deep sense, you don't play them that music. You play them the music that's beneficial for them. So Saraswati Thakur, coming to this parikrama, tried to establish principles of devotion, like Prahlad Maharaj, etc. Uddhava. These are important things. Like, you never see Govinda Maharaj or Guru Maharaj talking about intricacy of gopi. This gopi has this hair, she has this style, she has that. Yeah, that's all true. Everything is personal, but that's like, does that make you more Krishna conscious? No, it will not make you. It will mess you up because it will not give you the proper emphasis on service. It will give you knowledge that you're not prepared to understand. Yes, all spiritual world, everybody has his own form, his own character, his own beauty, and that's wonderful to know. That's as much as we should know. But something like Govardhana-lila, that's a whole different ballgame. It began from disaster. It's really about imperfection. There's no eroticism that lead your polluted mind to like. It's a very clear, wonderful pastime of Lord that has huge benefit. How much huge? It says you'll be so fortunate if you participate in that. Even here, a little bit about that. So when we're passing to Imlitala here, there's Krishna Vallabh deity of Giriraj. Krishna Vallabh is the neighbor. He used to be a friend of Govinda Maharaj. We used to come to their house and take prasadam. And today is Govardhana-lila. Actually, if we would have a little bit more time, we should have buy some flowers and do a little offering to Giriraj here in this temple, because this is our friendly temple. This old ancient temple, only Giriraj here. We can go darshan. The Giriraj here hiding everywhere. And Giriraj is so merciful and wonderful. And giving so much joy. And at the same time, it's everywhere. You think like, oh, Giriraj is everywhere. You're gonna walk. Not like that. Although it's everywhere here in Vrindavan, Govardhan, it appeared to be a cheaper deity. Hey, if you don't have money for Radha and Krishna, get Giriraj. Doesn't work like this. For somebody who understands the value of Giriraj, he can understand. Without Giriraj, Vrindavan is not a Vrindavan. So just like try to remove Yamuna and Govardhan. That's what Radharani said. When Krishna said, I want to take everybody into the material world, because Krishna said, I need to go to the material world, I need to do some pastimes. And Radharani said, what about us? Oh, I can take all of you. And then Radharani said, there's no way we're going to go to this world without Yamuna and Vrindavan. Like in Giriraj, there's no possibility for us to leave. It's our life. Worship Yamuna and Giriraj. Yamuna is source of water, Giriraj source of everything. How can we live without Govardhan and Yamuna? Then you can understand a little something about Krishna consciousness. And when there's no devotee, there's no service, there's no bhakti. Like devotee can't live there. It's not life for him. Unless he's some neophyte. That's why, as much as Vrindavan harsh plays with monkeys, but it's like, where else can you find all this stuff? And once you critically look at yourself, you say, I have no devotion. If I would have a drop of devotion, my whole life would be different. But I don't have a devotion. And I have to pray. In humility and self-respect, another, you can come up with that. Anyway, so I spoke a little bit, and I'm sure there are very few people to hear me, and because there'll be other speaking program. Sankarshan, how much time we have?
Yes, Maharaj, now we have here Bhakti Lalita, Mohan Ananda, Prabhu, and many so wonderful devotees. So they can also say something today.
Yes, please. I'm sorry I took so much time.
Oh, that was wonderful, Maharaj.
Bhakti Lalita should speak.
Dandavat Maharaj, I want to introduce you to my mother and my brother. This is my mom.
Oh, wonderful,
Bonnie.
wonderful.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
This is my mom.
Please give my obeisances and tell them that we're so happy to receive them here in Thailand. After so many years, suddenly they can experience little devotional community, and I hope they heard your beautiful songs. Your daughter is very talented. She could be a singing star. Actually, she is, but she chose in a very humble and sweet way to glorify Supreme Lord, not to glorify herself, because most of the singers it's about themselves. But you know, it's anti-ego singing. The kirtan is to glorify Krishna. So her recordings will live for a long time, because devotional stuff does not vanish over fashion. Dandavat Pranam.
Maharaj and Mohan Ananda Prabhu is here.
Oh, wonderful. I'm sorry, I should have let you speak first. It was just a little messed up setup here.
Dandavat
So
Maharaj, all glories to your
Dandavat,
service. As always, you move mountains, not hills. You move mountains for the service of our Guru Varga. It is
Thanks God, it's not about me.
It is noted, and I bow down to you, Maharaj, and give you my pranams. Please, Yovati. Maharaj.
I'm missing your blissful association. I hope one day we can meet and do Govardhan Parikrama.
That would
So
be
if
wonderful.
Srimati Bhakti Lalita can speak something, it will be very, very wonderful. And Mahananda Prabhu can say something, also wonderful.
Definitely, we will share some glories of Sri Krishna and Govardhan Hill. Very briefly, I want to say to all the devotees here and elsewhere who's listening, very briefly, I know that the story of Govardhan Hill can sound like a
ничего не слышу.
one of those Marvel movies, you know, you watch a Marvel movie, you see a guy holding up, you know, doing fantastic things. It's like that. But really, it's a lot deeper than that. It is about taking shelter of your divine master. It's taking shelter of Sri Krishna. He promised to protect his devotees. So the story is one about faith, about devotion, and about protection. And Krishna fulfills his bargain. He promised you he'll do that. And he promised the villagers, don't worry about Indra. I'll take care of it. Indra thought he was a boss man. He thought he was a big guy. But Krishna, little Krishna, showed him that his devotees will always be sheltered and protected. So it's a very simple story. And it's very easy for us to understand because we also have this attachment and this devotion, like Krishna or our Guru, who is our father, who takes care of everything. So really, that's all there is to it. Not too complicated, but already Avadhut Maharaj has explained to you the depth of it, the height of it, the width of it. So if you listen carefully to what he has said in the last 30 minutes, you have really understood everything. So I'm not going to repeat what he had already nicely explained to everyone. So I'm just going to say, follow your divine grace, follow your guru, follow and be grateful. And another thing, one short lesson. Indra asked for forgiveness. That's very important. So if you've done something wrong to your Gurudev or Sri Krishna, don't be afraid to ask for forgiveness because they are magnanimous. They will easily brush that aside and grant you a boon of great devotion. So don't be afraid to ask for forgiveness if you have done something to slight your Gurudev or Sri Krishna. That's a very good lesson. Forgiveness, gratitude, because your Guru will save you, Sri Krishna will save you. So that's good gratitude. And don't forget also your service. Very important to do that. And so you see, understand there's a lot to do with Govardhan Hill. It may appear on the outside like a simple fairy tale, but there's a lot of depth in it. But already Maharaj has explained nicely. I'll let Bhakti Lalita share with you. And not forgetting, we honor you, Bani and Andrew. Lovely to have met you the other day. And thank you for being here. As Maharaj has already explained, your daughter is more than a gem. She is a diamond in the necklace of our Sampradaya. Jai Bhakti Lalita Devi ki jai. Avadhut Maharaj ki jai.
I have a mic here, so you can keep that. And I just wanted to read a little bit of the Srimad-Bhagavatam synopsis, just so those who are unfamiliar, like my mom and my brother, and our guests maybe, everyone can hear the background and how this happened and why it happened. It's a wonderful pastime. You'll probably hear the word lila a lot. That in Sanskrit means divine play. It's the Lord's play. He's not struggling in life like us. He's playing in his divine realm and having fun, pleasure pastimes with his devotees. And this is another fun occasion of Krishna's. But he's also teaching, like Mohan and Ananda said, many lessons and many esoteric meanings are found within this pastime. So the Bhagavatam says like how it all began. And this is Vedic culture set in ancient India. They have their culture of worship, and all the people give thanks to the different gods for providing, especially Indra. He's the king of heaven who provides rain, which nourishes the crops and gives grass to the cows. And this is Krishna's play took place in cowherd society. He liked the idea of being a cowherd boy, being born where there's milk in production and butter and simple, beautiful village life where everything's centered around cows and cow products being made and traded at that time. And all these cowherd people, every year they would worship Indra they'd have this annual celebration where they worship Indra and try to please him so they could get rain, so their cows would have grass and life would thrive. But, you know, Indra's a demigod and he's not the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but he's in the form of a young boy, a young cowherd boy. And Indra is in this pastime, he's just a little bit bewildered. Like, who is this young boy who has so much influence? He looks very human-like. He's just a boy with 2 arms. He doesn't have 4 arms, and he's not overtly showing so much divinity. He's just playing, doing what he likes to do. But he notices, okay, it's time to teach my cowherd parents and friends and mothers and uncles, and it's time to teach them, like, where your offerings should be going, really, not to some demigod who provides the rain, but serve Govardhan Hill. And we have here 2 Govardhan pieces of the mountain that's in India that we were showing on the screen. This place, we have a temple there. We go there for pilgrimage. That's where Avadhut Maharaj was speaking from, just nearby there. And we take the pieces of that mountain to our countries, and we can worship that piece as Govardhan, as representative of that mountain. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, our grandfather teacher, he said about Giriraj Govardhan that a part of the infinite is also infinite. So you take a little part of infinite, of the Lord, that is also full, that is also infinite. So that worship is going on here and all over the world. Everyone loves this Govardhan form, and the Lord is present within that form. The potency is there, and wherever he goes, that place will be flourishing and thriving. And that happened here. When we started, we didn't have Radha, Krishna, and Mahaprabhu yet. We came here with Giriraj Govardhan, this left side, far left deity. We came here and we came to our property. And when we put the Giriraj deity on the altar for the first time in this place, all the birds, every kind of different bird that's in this area started to sing in unison. And a few of us noticed this, that, wow, this is like a celebration. We brought Giriraj in his new place, in his new seat, in his new asana, and all the birds are celebrating. We heard the roosters and the chickens and the warblers and the kokils and the turkeys, and everybody's singing at that moment. And then we noticed in due course of time that the road we had out here was very destroyed. It was like full of potholes. The rainy season always destroys the pavement. And it was in such bad condition, you'd have to drive really slow around the holes. Then we noticed one day the road was paved. Then they were complaining about droughts in this area. But after Giriraj came and sat on his altar here, the road got fixed, the rain started coming, the rivers started to fill up, and the drought ended. And then we noticed like this whole locality just became upgraded. Everything, like nice places started to appear, nice houses, and the property value went up, and the whole area started looking really pretty. Through just little by little, the whole area was improving. And then we even got a health food store, vegetarian store down the street opened up. Yuvati makes that point. Like, look at what's happening here. Everything's like starting to thrive, and just our neighbors are so nice, and sometimes leaving flowers on our gates, and so many Thai people are giving donations and happy that we're here. And we feel that's Giriraj's grace. He was our first deity here, and he made everything auspicious for us. So a part of the infinite is also infinite. He's fully here, representing this Govardhan mountain. So here it says, when Sri Krishna saw the cowherd men busily preparing for a sacrifice to Indra, he inquired about it from their king, Nanda, who is his father. Nanda Maharaj is the father of Krishna. Nanda explained that the rain given by Indra enables all living entities to maintain their lives, and therefore the sacrifice would be executed to satisfy him. But Krishna responded, it is because of karma alone that living entities take their birth in a certain body, experience varieties of happiness and suffering in that body, and then give it up as the karma pertaining to it runs out. Thus, it is karma alone that is our enemy, our friend, our guru, and our Lord, and Indra can do nothing to alter the happiness and distress of anyone, for everyone is tightly bound by his karmic reactions. The material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance bring about the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this world. The clouds give forth rain, and when they are impelled by the mode of passion, the cowherds prosper by protecting the cows. Furthermore, the cows and the cowherd people proper residence is in the forest on the hills. Therefore, you should worship the cows, the brahmanas, and Govardhan Hill. He's saying you don't need to do this for Indra, because really everything worshipable here is the priests, the brahmanas, the cows, and this hill of Govardhan. After Krishna spoke this, he arranged for the cowherd men to worship Govardhan Hill with all the paraphernalia collected for the sacrifice to Indra. Then he assumed an unprecedented transcendental form and devoured all the food and other offerings presented to Govardhan. So Krishna appeared as Govardhan in a giant mountainous form, and he took all the ingredients that they were going to give to Indra. He accepted it as Govardhan Hill. So as he did this, he proclaimed to the cowherd community that although they had worshipped Indra for so long, he had never appeared in person, whereas Govardhan himself has now manifest before their eyes and eaten their offerings of foodstuffs. Therefore, they should all now offer obeisances to Govardhan Hill. Then Lord Krishna joined the cowherds in offering obeisances to his own newly assumed form. So that's that. Everything meant for Indra went to Govardhan. Okay, and everyone's happy except Indra. Indra gets really upset, and he's the god of rain, and he wants revenge. Lord Indra was overcome by anger when the residents of Vrindavan canceled his sacrifice. How he tried to punish them by sending forth a devastating rainfall to Vrindavan. And Lord Krishna protected Gokula by lifting the Govardhan Hill for 7 days, using it as an umbrella to ward off the rain. So Indra is angry, and he sends his devastating clouds and thunder and lightning to destroy this place and all the inhabitants. And Krishna just, okay, Indra's upset, and he lifted the mountain, this Govardhan hill, went and held it with his pinky for 7 days and used the hill as an umbrella. And everybody went underneath this hill, and the cowherd people, they know there's something extraordinary about this boy Krishna, but they don't, it's called Yoga Maya. They think he's just one of their people, that he's a charming boy with something, there's always something extraordinary about him, but they don't think he's God. And they think maybe he needs a little bit of help. So they're taking, the cowherd men always have sticks to tap the cows and herd them. And they take their sticks and they're going to help Krishna hold the mountain. In 7 days, they're thinking, oh, his arm must be paining from all this holding like this for 7 days. And they're massaging him and trying to help out the best they can. And Indra was so angry and said, people often give up the pursuit of transcendental knowledge, the means for self-realization, and imagine that they can cross over the ocean of material existence by mundane fruitive sacrifices. Similarly, these cowherd men and people have become intoxicated by pride and have offended by taking shelter of an ignorant, ordinary child. To remove this supposed pride of the residents of Vrindavan, Indra sent the clouds known as Samvatkata, whose function is to facilitate the destruction of the world. He sent them to harass the Brajabasis, the residents of Vrindavan, with downpours of rain and hail. The cowherd community was very disturbed by this and approached Krishna for shelter. Understanding that the trouble was the work of Indra, Krishna decided to smash to pieces Indra's false prestige, and thus he lifted Govardhan Hill with one hand. He then invited the entire cowherd community to take shelter in the dry space beneath the mountain. For 7 successive days, he held up the hill until Indra finally understood Krishna's mystic power and ordered the clouds to withdraw. So finally, after 7 days, Indra gets it. Okay, this Krishna is not an ordinary child. There's something going on here. When the cowherd villagers emerged from beneath the mountain, Krishna put Govardhan Hill back in its exact proper place. The cowherd people were in ecstasy, showering loving symptoms such as flowing tears, and their bodily hairs stood on end. They embraced Krishna and offered him benedictions according to their respective positions, while the demigods in heaven rained down flowers and sang of the Lord's praises. And one more. The cowherd men, unaware of Lord Krishna's power, because they're under this spiritual illusion, because Krishna is situated on the very topmost part of the spiritual world. He likes simple life. And his other expansions have 4 arms, and they live in very opulent, majestic places, and that's fine for the other expansions, but Krishna likes this simple life, human-like life. And so there's a type of spiritual illusion called Yoga Maya covering the people and the residents, and they just see the Lord as their friend, as their lover, as their son, as their nephew. He has a lot of friends and relatives, and they're not aware of his supreme position as God. And they like it that way. Sometimes there'll be rumors they'll hear, like Krishna's mother, Yashoda, will hear people think my son is God. And she gets annoyed by that. Like, what are they talking about? He's my son. So she's under some kind of spiritual illusion to think that. Because the spiritual illusion, the Yoga Maya allows play to take place. They can play, they can interact as parents, as father, mother, and if they're thinking this is God, that's going to interfere with their loving mood of relationship. So the cowherd people were just a little shocked by this pastime. They were like, how did that happen? He lifted the hill 7 days, and then he puts it exactly where it was after teaching Indra a lesson. And Indra was very sorry. And the cowherd men approached the king, Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's father, and told him that after seeing how Krishna, a boy of only 7 years old, had lifted a mountain and how he had previously killed different demons, Putana and others, generated extreme attraction in their hearts of everyone. And the people had become doubtful and bewildered about how Krishna could possibly have taken birth in the unsuitable environment of a cowherd community. So they were thinking, how maybe this boy isn't meant to be living with us in this simple life. And they were, a little bewildered what happened. And Nanda Maharaj replied that Garga Muni, the astrologer and teacher of Krishna and Balaram, Garga Muni told them that in previous ages, this boy was manifested in different forms, in different ages, as Vasudev of the Supreme Lord. One of his many names is Vasudev, and he has innumerable other names indicating his many qualities and activities. Garga Muni, the astrologer, had predicted that Krishna would prevent all sorts of catastrophes in Vrindavan, and he will spread unlimited auspiciousness and increase the ecstasy of the cowherd people. In a previous age, he had provided protection for the saintly brahmanas when they were harassed by low-class dacoits, thieves, and there was no proper ruler in society at that time. As the demons in the higher planets can never defeat the demigods who have Lord Vishnu on their side, no enemy can ever defeat those who love Krishna. In his affinity for his devotees and in his opulence and power, Krishna is just like the Lord himself. This is what the astrologer told the parents of Krishna, that this is your child's astrology. This is what it says. And they took it to heart, okay, but they're also still not thinking of their child as God. So the cowherd men heard this, what Garga Muni said about Krishna, and they were very happy, and they felt that Krishna must be an empowered representative of the Supreme Lord. Thus, they worshipped him and Nanda Maharaj. So this pastime is very wonderful, and it actually happened. It's not fairy tales like Avadhut Maharaj said, like Mohan said. It's the Lord came to this earth 5,000 years ago in Vrindavan, and you can see where his house was and where many of these pleasure pastimes took place. And you can go to this Govardhan hill and you can go around it. On this day, there's millions of people circumambulating this mountain. And we have a temple there, and we wash the deity with milk and sugar. It's one type of worship, scrubbing the Lord with sugar and honey and milk, all cow products, ghee, and then we offer mountains of food to the Giriraj Govardhan and feed the devotees. And one thing about Giriraj Govardhan, they say, is he's very kind and magnanimous and generous. And sometimes we don't know what is good for us. We're praying for something, And it may not be good for us. And Giriraj knows, actually, that's not going to be good for you. So he'll alter our prayers and he'll give us what we should have for our well-being. So he's that kind of merciful Lord that will correct our wrong and be giving and merciful in a way that's best for us. So that's one specialty of Giriraj Govardhan. And today is the day in India and all over the world, everyone who has a piece of this mountain, they all are celebrating this puja day. And we've been many times in India on this occasion. It's a very festive occasion. And it's this very holy month of Kartik. And we have our temple in Govardhan. Our Gurudev purchased this property in a very quiet place. And our Gurudev wanted us not to be in the way in these holy places. So he made some place like down a back alley next to a just quiet forest area. And they were preparing to develop this property that he thought would be suitable for us, and plowing the field. And they found inside the earth, as they were plowing, that this giant Shila, giant Giriraj Govardhan piece of the mountain, and took that out, and they washed it, and they called the priests, the pandas, come and look at this. And the pandas and the experts saw this Govardhan Shila, and they said that this is a very ancient piece of the mountain that was worshipped before in history. 200-300 years ago, there were markings of puja being done before. And so they excavated this giant piece of the mountain, this Govardhan Shila, and that is the deity in our Govardhan temple. So it was a very glorious discovery on our land in Govardhan. Just a few minutes walk from the mountain. And that worship is going on with a beautiful temple that was handmade, designed by our Srila Gurudev. And maybe one day you'll go and see for yourself. Many of us have been there, and it's a wonderful place of pilgrimage that worship is going on. Our Gurudev, for the devotees who are familiar, said, this is our shelter. We take shelter of Giriraj Govardhan. And this is like a divine vision of our Guru Varga, that we will go in the early morning to go pick flowers, collect them in Kusham Sarovar, and then go to serve Radha and Krishna in Radha Kunda, Shama Kunda, and give our service and all our offerings to the Lord there. Then at nighttime, we come back to the lotus feet of Giriraj, take shelter, because there we will be protected by Giriraj. We won't make, if it's similar to Aparad Bhanjan Pat, we take shelter of this merciful place, the merciful shade of Giriraj, stay there safely, and then go for service from there. We don't make our residence in Radha Kund. We make our residence in the shade of Giriraj's lotus feet, and therefore it will be a safe position for us, because these are very high things, and we are not so cultured. We're just learning. We're coming from all over the world, and this is a new culture for us. And sometimes we're not following the rules, and there's a lot of cleanliness rules and standards and things that we aren't always well versed in, so many etiquettes that are followed. And so we're grateful for that extra mercy that's being provided by the Lord. And that comes from Giriraj Govardhan, under the guidance of our guru, our teachers, and we learn proper way to honor and worship. So it's a very happy day, a celebration day, a day we give our hearts and our offerings to Giriraj Govardhan. And we have so much going on in the kitchen since yesterday. They're cutting vegetables and preparing for today to offer something suitable to Giriraj. Mountains of food will be distributed, and so our festivals always involve a lot of cooking. When Andrew came, my brother came to visit our temple in California, he stayed 2-3 days and then concluded that this is a party religion, actually. Krishna consciousness is a party religion, and everyone was like, you got it. You nailed it. In your 3 days of observation and an experience, you saw that we're always partying in a God-centric, Krishna conscious way. And it's also a kitchen religion. It's so important that we are making, because we don't just cook and eat. We cook and we offer to the Lord, and then we take it, because we want to give back what has been provided by the Lord. We will prepare it with love, offer that as being grateful, and first you take it and then we will take it, and it will be called prasadam. After that, it's blessed. That food is blessed, and we made some endeavor to give back, to show our gratefulness and our respect and our love. Right, Mohan?
Hearing, chanting, and taking prasad.
Yeah.
We are very good at it.
Yes.
And we love it.
Yeah.
We don't want it to stop. It is our duty every day to talk about the Lord, to chant about the Lord, which is the same as our Guru, sing his glories, and then making sure that something is offered to the deity that you are worshipping. And if you don't have one, then offer it to your Guru, who is, after all, the person that brought you to the feet of the Lord. And in that way, you actually purify yourself. And slowly, you get to the state of being, body, mind, and spirit, where you simply feel so good that everybody wants a piece of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the Lord. That is our Guru. It's not rocket science. It's just simple, everyday activities we call sadhana.
Yeah. So this is the culture, ancient culture of India that just is God-centric in nature. But we come from Western society, which is more egocentric, centering around our own ego and extended ego. That circumference can get very large with family and society, and it's a big shift for us to come out of this kind of I'm the controller of everything I do, and everything should be centered around me. But Krishna consciousness teaches us to shift away from that gradually and know that actually God is in the center and we are part of God. And that's where we'll find our happy place. Our Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, we are all parts of an organic whole. We're all part and parcel of a whole organic experience of existence. And it's our innate constitutional position to serve for the good of the whole, to be a serving unit, to be a giver instead of just a consumer and exploiter for our own self. So it's a very healthy shift going into a God-centric life, which is natural for everyone. It's the nature of the soul. And you'll start to feel that, yes, this is where I'm finding happiness, not in taking for my own sense gratification or anything, but being a giver. So that's what it's all about in these festival days. Just increase our devotion and remembrance. It's all very good for the soul to remember and celebrate these wonderful occasions. So Jai Sri Govardhana Puja ki Jai, Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai, Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sindar Giriraj Ju ki Jai, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sindar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Jai Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Govardhan Dham ki Jai, Vrindavan Purushottam Dham ki Jai, Jai Bhagavan Shri Krishna Chandra ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Bimala Avadhut Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mad Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Jai Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Tulasi Maharani ki Jai, Ganga Jamuna Ji ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Jai Kartik Vrata ki Jai, Niyam Seva ki Jai, Kol Kartal ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Jai Go Premanand